In this practice, we're going to be carrying out mindful movement or yoga. So finding a place and a time where you're unlikely to be disturbed, and somewhere where you can start in a lying down position, but with enough space around you to carry out some movements involving rolling over to the left, to the right, and sometimes being up on all fours. Ideally, you'll have a mat or a thick rug, something between yourself and the floor, when carrying out these exercises. And the key to these exercises is not to overstretch, not to try too hard. Your body will set its own limits. Just go to those limits. Try not to compete against anyone or anything. The more you practice this activity, the further you will be able to reach. But in the initial instance, it's all about taking care of yourself and looking after your body. So starting off, lying on your back, arms down by your sides, your feet gently falling away from each other. And turn your attention to your breathing, to the in-breath and the out-breath. As the air comes in through the nose or mouth, the rise and fall of the chest, the rise and fall of the abdomen, and then the exhaling of the air. Each breath a new beginning, each out breath a letting go. And now all your attention focused into the abdomen area, around the area of the navel. Rise and fall. And the first movement we're going to do is to bring your arms up slowly, up past your chest, keeping them straight, up, reaching up above your head. And then to stretch out and reach tall, and at the same time point the toes and push the feet out in the other direction, so you're really stretching the body. Again, don't stretch too far, not uncomfortable, just reaching out and stretching. Your arms reaching out above your head, parallel to one another, and your feet stretching out parallel to one another in the opposite direction, with toes pointed. Pay attention to how it feels, what effects this has on your breathing, and any effects that it's having on your arms and legs whilst carrying out this activity. And now slowly relax the legs, relax the arms, and really slowly, like the rising and lowering of a crane, bring your arms up, back past your head, past your chest, and very, very slowly down until they come into contact with the mat alongside your body again, and back to the starting position. And then tuning into any sensations in the body that you've had as a result of this stretch. Any different feelings, any tingling, any result of the stretch. And now I'm going to bring both knees up so you have an inverted V and your feet are firmly on the ground. So knees bent in a V shape. And place your hands out either side of you to the left and right. So directly in line with your shoulder, not above your head this time, just straight out from the shoulders, palms facing down. And from this position, bring your knees together and then gently let the knees fall over to the left-hand side of the body. Nice and slowly. And if they come in contact with the ground, that's great. But if they don't quite make the ground, don't force them over. Go to the left to start, with the right knee on top of the left. And then back into the center. And then back over to the other side, to the right hand side. Again, don't overstretch, just so the knees come over to that side and provide a stretch in the body. All the while concentrating on your breathing, any feelings that are happening in the body. And then back up to the center and back over to the left. And then to the left and right, in time with your breathing, nice and slow and steady, allowing the body to stretch off. And bring your knees back up to the center. And then bring the knees up to the chest, bend the knees, bring the knees up to the chest, and wrap your arms around the knees, and pull the knees into your chest. Don't overdo this, don't pull them too hard, just so your knees are in contact with the chest area. And if you want to accentuate the stretch, you can bring your head and shoulders up off the mat and bring them up towards your knees and hold them in this position. And then slowly release the knees, let the arms go back down by the sides, and return the feet and the legs to the start position. Nice and slowly, and then tune into any body sensations that have been caused as a result of this exercise. Not trying to achieve anything, just paying attention to what's going on in the body. And for the next exercise, bring the right knee up on its own, keeping the left knee on the ground. And wrap your arms around the shin and knee. And pull the leg into the body. Don't overstretch this, keep your left leg where it is on the ground. And if you want to accentuate that stretch, do what you did with the previous stretch and bring your head and shoulders up off the mat and into contact with the knee and just hold in that position. Breathing all the while and seeing the difference that this kind of stretch makes in your breathing. How the chest is slightly constricted. Bring your head and shoulders back down to the mat and gently release the leg and let the leg come back to the rest position. And feel the difference between both legs after having carried out this exercise. And then swap legs over. This time bringing the left leg up, wrapping the arms around the knee and shin, and bringing the left leg into the chest. And again, if you want to accentuate the stretch, bring the head and shoulders up off the mat until they're nearly in contact with the knee, and hold that stretch, paying attention to the body, attention to the breath. And then slowly lower the head and the shoulders back onto the mat. Release the leg, bring the arms down by the sides, and bring the leg back into the rest position. Again, focusing on any feelings and sensations as a result of the exercise just carried out. All your attention in the body, all your attention in the leg that's just carried out the exercise. And now roll over onto your side and comes up onto your hands and knees, with the back in a position like a tabletop, with your palms underneath your shoulders, and your knees underneath your hips, and your head up. And now we're going to carry out a stretch called the cat stretch. So pushing the back upwards towards the sky, and the head drops down beneath between the shoulders like a Halloween cat stretching, and holding that stretch at its highest point. And then on the next breath, letting the stretch come down, and the stretch goes in the opposite direction with the head coming up and the belly hanging loose underneath. And not pushing too hard on this one, but letting the belly go down towards the ground. Still breathing throughout. And then on the next breath, back up into the cat stretch, back as high as you can, head down between the shoulder blades, in between the shoulders. Nice big stretch like a Halloween cat. And then release again on the next breath. Head up and allow the belly to drop down again. Pushing towards the floor but not too hard. And now continue in this cat stretch with your in breath and your out breath. With the in breath as your belly goes down to the floor, and the out breath as you arch the back like a cat. And then coming back to the rest position with your arms in the tabletop in the position, arms and legs in the tabletop position. And then reaching out with your left hand in front of your body and your right leg out behind you. So the left hand and the right leg pointing out, and bring your head up and look over your left hand. You might start to wobble and find a little bit of imbalance. This is a great exercise for core stability. Just hold that stretch whilst looking over the left hand. Your eyes open at this stage. And now bring the left hand and the right leg back down, and then swap over to the opposite leg and hand. And again, trying to look out over the top of the hand that's stretched out in front of you, and with the leg out at the rear, maintaining that balance. Still breathing throughout the whole exercise. And then bringing your arm and leg back down into position, back into the tabletop position. And then another quick cat stretch to loosen off the back after the exercise just carried out. Up on the out breath, then down on the in breath. And then back into the rest position, lead down on your back, your arms down by your sides, and your feet falling gently away from each other. Tuned into any feelings, any sensations after having carried out the cat stretch and the reaching exercises. And now from your laid down position, bringing your arms up above your head, the backs of your hands on the ground above your head, arms parallel. And now walk your feet forward until your knees are in a V shape, and then lift your hips and back up off the mat so that all your weight is resting on your feet and on your shoulders. And hold that position. It's a very expansive position. And then feel the breath, the in breath and the out breath, whilst holding this stretch. Don't hold it for too long if you can't. If you need to go back down and bring your hips to the floor, do so. But if not, all your weight on your feet and shoulders, hips up, head back, gently breathing and holding that stretch. Feeling the stretch, all your attention in the feelings. And then slowly let your hips come back down to the floor. Bring your arms back along the side of your body and let your feet come back to the rest position, falling away from each other. And all your attention now focused on how it feels having conducted that activity. Any feelings in the body at all? And next we're going to bring the knees up back into the V-shaped position. Feet side by side and knees together. And then bring your arms up behind your head and lace the fingers together, and they can support the head. Elbows out by your sides. And now slowly drop your knees over to the right hand side, keeping your knees and feet together. Don't worry if they don't reach the floor, as far as they can go without pushing them too far. And at the same time, turn your head to look over towards your left elbow, so the knees are over to the right and the head is over to the left. And then seeing how this feels on the in-breath as it tightens, and on the out-breath as it loosens the stretch. And then tightening up the tummy muscles, bringing the knees back up to the center and the head back to the center. And then in the opposite direction, so your knees coming down to the left, and then put your head over to the right and hold that position. Wherever your body falls is the right place for it to be, concentrating on the feelings with the in-breath and the out-breath. And then bring the knees back up to the center. Bring your head back to the center. Unlace the hands, unlace the fingers. Bring the arms back down by your sides. And let your legs come back to the rest position. And now hold your body in the rest position. Breathing in slowly. Breathing out. Or your attention focused on any feelings and sensations in the body. And as we come to the end of these exercises, all your attention in the body, bringing that attention to whatever the next activity is. And that's the end of the mindful movement exercises.